Hey everyone, I hope y'all are doing well today. Sometimes I try to think of a different way to say my intro, but that would be trying, wouldn't it? Well, when I was listening to my videos, I know I would say, hey guys, hey y'all, hope you're doing well. That's just what I say. Anything else is me trying too hard. So I hope y'all are doing well, guys. I have just getting things done that I need to get done, and sometimes I don't want to do stuff, so I don't do it, but then I feel guilty that I haven't done stuff. So today I made up in my mind that I was going to get out and just get a few things done and get a few things accomplished. And one of the other things I'm trying to really think about is like, should I go back to work? I'm retired right now. But I feel a little bored. I've been retired since 2019, April of 2019. And so there are a few things that I think I want to venture into and try and do. But at the same time, I feel like my priority, one of the things that I always wanted is to be able to just raise my children. And it's not that I have been raising them, but I'm talking about like I can be here for them. You know what I mean? Be here for them and send them off to school, pick them up, make them dinner, make them breakfast. I know to some people that may seem really like corny or whatever, but I will definitely tell you, when you've served in the military and you've been traveling like I have been, and every 3 years we were moving, then I had to go away on assignments. Those little things, like just being home with your children and just seeing them, it's a huge deal. And for them, they've grown up in that military setting. They're used to that. So, that's all they've known from they're little. We're moving, we're traveling. Mommy's going to go somewhere. Mommy's got to go off to some assignment. So just being able to be home with them and being able to just raise them and be there, and I can go to everything, and I'm just home with them. I love that. So that's the thing that sort of made me wonder and just think, how do I want to work? Maybe a business or something like that. But yeah. So what I do now, I just make sure I accomplish something for the day. You know what I mean? So anywho, I wanted to talk with you guys. I did a video not too long ago and was talking about, that godly man, godly woman that people, will say that they want. Believers will say that they want. And they want a spouse and they want a partner and all of that. And I always say, just check your motive as to why you want to be married. What is your motive? Are you thinking of sharing your life, what you can pour into someone? Are you thinking of not only the good times and the fun times, but the bad times, the difficult times that you may have? And I always say, there's certain things when you're a believer, you should not be dealing with it in a marriage or even in a relationship. We have everybody, no one is perfect, but you don't want to be with a person who has issues, unresolved issues, things that they're dealing with, situationships, it's complicated ships, anger issues, jealousy issues, addictions, whether it is to substances or pornography, honesty issue, integrity issue, character issues. You want to make sure you have all those things worked out through Christ, and you definitely do not want to be the rehabilitation center for anybody. But with that said, when you're looking and saying, I want a spouse and you want a partner, because at this point, guys, being single, you should not be like kicking it. What we used to call was kicking it. Oh, we're just kicking it. In other words, there is no obligation. There's no end in sight as far as where you go from dating to engagement to marriage. It's just, you're just kicking it. And oftentimes, people are doing a lot of, let me open this window for a second. A lot of times people are doing a lot of husband and wife stuff without any obligation. And so we're in a society more or less today where the norm is just to kick it. The norm is just to date forever, live together, drink the milk without buying it. And if you think about it, guys, you can't even go in a store and buy a cheap pack of bologna without buying it. You can't taste it first. You can't open that package and pay for that 99 cents bologna at Walmart. It's not even 99 cents. I think that thing is like 79 cents. I haven't made a bologna sandwich in a hot good minute. I want to try bologna and cheese like back in the days. Anywho, getting back on track. So let's just think about that for a second. There are a lot of people who we're in a society now where people want to live together, they want to do life together, but they don't want to commit. And people say, I'm committed. Well, if you're committed, why not just get married? Well, because people realize marriage is something different. When you're just kicking it and you decide you want to stop kicking it, that person could just walk right out your life without any obligations to you. You could have invested all your time in this person and it's just over. They're just done with it. And so we're just in this society where even as believers, Christian singles, and even married Christians are following a lot of the norms of the world and just going along with it. And so, guys, I want to speak with you today about those of you that say that you want a godly spouse. There's so many things that you have to think about, because sometimes you want to date a godly man or a godly woman, but you have to understand what godliness is, not according to the carnal world, because there are a lot of people who say that they're believers of God. However, they're living just like the world. The only thing is they say that they're Christians, but they go to the same things. They watch the same TV shows. They watch the same movies. They go to the same gatherings. They do the same thing. I know that. I've been there, done that. And it just felt natural. It was like, I didn't even think I was really doing anything wrong, except for, just certain things, was wrong. But guys, I want you to know that when God really transforms your life, you're going to know and realize certain things you cannot do. Certain things, it's not good to do it. And God's going to show you, no, I require you to live a holy life, a clean life. You can't do the exact same thing that you were doing when you were unsaved. So with that being said, sometimes people are wanting to say they want a godly husband and godly wife, but think about that truly and ask yourself, have you truly been transformed in the Lord? Because you may have a problem when you're with someone who's truly serving God in spirit and in truth, not with lip service as the Bible talks about, but the heart is far away. But because that person is going to be different. There's certain things they're not going to do anymore. There's certain places they may not want to go. So what happened if you're still carnal, you still want to go to the comedy club where they're cursing, and your spouse or the person that you are looking at to be with does not want to do that? What happened when you want to Netflix and chill? And they're like, no, I don't Netflix and chill. You want to come over, and they don't let you come over to their house. They're just going to meet you, at a cafe or certain things like that. What happens when they want to bring you home early? Y'all went out, you go out, and that man brings you home by 5 p.m. Are you going to be okay with that? Or do you want to be leaving your house at 7 p.m. to go watch the movie or wherever? You have to think about that, because if you are not truly transformed, you're going to think that person is lame. You're not going to enjoy that, because you're going to be thinking, well, what else can we do? Well, we can't sleep together. Well, it's boring. We haven't kissed yet. We haven't, do no dry humping. You know, there could be so many things that you may think is normal, because according to the world, it's normal. Who goes to the movies? Who goes to a matinee on a date, right? You're supposed to go at night, in the evening. You know, we could go out to eat, and then, or go to the movies, then we're going to go out to eat, or we're going to go to a little bar, we're going to meet at a club, or we're going to hang out with our friends, we're going to go see this concert, we're going to go out of town for the weekend. That's normal for boyfriend, girlfriend. But when you're, according to the world, but when you are a believer in Christ and he changes your life, none of that's going to happen. So think about that. When you have someone who is a praying man or a praying woman, when they fast and they pray, what happens when your spouse needs to fast? When you're supposed to abstain from intimacy, you can't color during those times. Ain't no coloring going on. So what are you going to do, guys, when you have that man who fasts? And he may want to, what's the word? Abstain from intimacy while he's fasting, or she's abstaining. Well, the Bible says that the spouse should be okay with it, with consent from their spouse. But will you always be that person that's going to be like, I'm sorry. Bring it. I don't care if you fasting. You better get here fast. We got to color. So these are all the things you have to think of when you're talking about a godly man or woman. And it's not that that person is boring. You can really have a lot of fun. You can do a lot of fun things. But there's certain disciplines that that person will have that you may not want. And that's because, I have to think back of when I was carnal and just living how I was living. It was nothing for me to be like, hey girl, we're going to go to the dinner theater. We're going to hang out. We're going to get some drinks. We're going to have some fun, to go to a comedy show and just sit there and listen to them giving their little jokes and the profanity. It felt natural to me. It felt natural, and it's going to feel natural to you. So when you're with a person that may not want to do anything like that, you're going to think that individual is boring. You're going to think that man or woman is like, oh my gosh. You're going to get bored because the carnality in you is going to say this is not normal. There will be an expectation if you're still dating according to the world. You want to know what's under the hood of that woman. So if she's not, no, we're not going to kiss. You're not coming over. We're not going to be touching, feeling. We're not about to be cutting and pasting nothing up in here. How are you going to feel about that? Because you feel like you need to try it out, right? You want to lick the envelope. You want to taste the batter. You're going to think that type of woman is boring. You're going to be hesitant. Some of you will be hesitant to marry her. You'll be like, I ain't tried her out yet. What if she's boring? What if she was boring? Would that be a deal breaker? Would her ability to please you sexually be a game changer? You have to think about this. And I think, yes, that is important. It is very important. But at the same time, don't you trust God to give that woman or that man what you need to satisfy you? And sometimes, guys, the mindset has to change. What are you used to? Because a lot of times the reason why people are like, I need to see, is because you've been staying with, sleeping around with Lenny and Kravitz and Charles and Earl and them, and you're used to sleeping with Mimi and Samantha and Pamantha and Renee and Shaquita and them. So you have a point of reference, and truly what needs to happen is you want to take that imprint off of you to have that mindset, because that's what it is. People want to try people out. They want to cut and paste, lick the envelope, do all these different things. You know what I mean? Scratch and sniff, do all this stuff without marriage, without true obligations. So whenever you're thinking of being with a man or woman of God who has truly turned their life over to the Lord, there's a lot to consider. One, are you transformed? Have you been changed? What is your mindset about relationships? Do you still approach that relationship from a carnal perspective, Think of the things that's fun to you and the things that you would want to do. Are you okay with being dropped home early? Are you okay with, hey, you're not calling me after 9, 10 o'clock? Are you okay with not being able to talk dirty to this individual? This person's not going to talk dirty to you. They're not going to get involved in any of those things that you normally will think is normal. They're not into the arguments. They want to pray. They want to talk about the word. Don't get me wrong. There has to be a time where you can talk about regular things. But the things that's going to be interesting to someone who is different, they're going to be temperate. They're not going to be up for the arguments. They're not going to be up for the drama. And some people, they live for drama. If you're a person, you have to be arguing. If it's boring for you to be peaceful, if you don't know how to speak respectfully, if you don't know how to be open about your feelings and let go of a cause, let go of a matter once it's been discussed. If you don't have any rule over your own soul and your spirit, man, how are you really going to handle a relationship with a man or woman of God? Because it's different. I'm talking about a true man or woman of God, a genuine one, not the ones that's running around and, hucking and bucking and carrying on and have all the bumper stickers on their car and doing all of this, but yet doing all kinds of, they live just like the world. That's what it is, carnality. There are a lot of Christians today, people who say that they believe in the Lord, and they do the exact same things just like an unbeliever. So those are the things, guys, that I would say you have to really, really think about. Those are the things that you really, really need to just look at in your heart. Consider in your heart. Sorry for all that blowing. Some people are being funny and silly right now. Hold on a second, guys. We got some people over here that are being so silly with each other. I guess they're doing a honk off with their horn. But you just have to think of those things, because sometimes there are individuals that they want a certain type of man or woman in their life, and they want, I want a God-fearing man, but they're not God-fearing. And they live a certain way, and what they will end up doing is either causing that person to fall, the individual that they're with, causing them to fall, or really, bring a lot of drama to the relationship, cause that person to think that they're too holy, they're too righteous, that they need to loosen up a little bit, they need to relax. And so what happens is they put that person in a position where that person can either begin to second guess and say, well, maybe I am being too spiritual, maybe I'm being too deep, cause that person to fall away from God, which is going to be a huge problem, cause a person to question their faith, or just take that person back to a place where they've been delivered from. And while that person's going to be responsible for their own choices, you will be responsible for, the Bible says, woe to the person who causes one of my, causes one of my own to stumble and to fall. It will be better that a millstone was hung around your neck and you were thrown in the bottom of the sea. So we don't want to be the ones that's doing things like that, causing someone to fall from where they need to be, making a person feel bad because they want to live holy and righteous, ridiculing them because they're living for Christ. So ask yourself that question when you're talking about being with a man or woman who is genuinely sold out for the Lord, who seeks the Lord, because the way they live and the disciplines that they have is going to be very, very different from perhaps what you've always been used to. All right, guys. Peace out.